Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing, commenting. I appreciate the support. And if you guys are interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Ko-fi link. It's in the description below. It's actually been really interesting the last couple of days because I've been chatting with a bunch of digital nomads about living alone in the world, roaming around the world, doing your thing. And a bunch of interesting things have come up for me with regards to similarities between how digital nomads or people in general think. Now, digital nomads, if you guys don't already know the term, are people like me who basically work online and who move around the world or perhaps live in different places in the world, like expats. So I live in Chiang Mai right now, and I go back and forth between Chiang Mai and Toronto, and I'm able to do that because I don't have anything tethering me to the ground. I am location independent. It's a term that they use. And I am location independent because, again, I don't have a job that holds me down in a certain place, or a family, although families can be digital nomads as well, or a mortgage or anything like that, really. Like, I'm just free to move around as I wish. And so that's what digital nomads basically are. They call it digital because they work online or on the computer, and nomads because they're nomadic, yeah? One of the main things that I've spoken to a couple of people about that they are worried about, one of the negative things that they're really always worried about because they're on the road all the time and always usually alone. You travel alone a lot, you know, you have to do visa runs because a lot of these countries require you to leave every 2-3 months. So you're out and you're traveling a lot, and you're moving around, you're roaming about. You're living in different places where you might not know anyone for the first few weeks, or you might know a couple of people maybe, but they're not that close to you. And you can't just ask them to be like, all right, I'm sick, can you take care of me? You can't do that with certain people because you just met them. And so you're alone basically a lot of the times in a lot of different ways. Not necessarily lonely, but alone, yeah? And one of the things that my friend recently told me is that she has a system. She's so afraid of dying alone. Basically, she's so afraid that she would die alone in her apartment somewhere in Chiang Mai, and no one would find her, and her cat would eat her face. Of course, that last bit, I think it's a little bit weird that she put that in there, but that was one of her main fears, is that, you know, she has lived in Chiang Mai for a while now, 3 years, same as me. And she does travel back and forth between Australia and Chiang Mai, so it's fine, but in Chiang Mai, she's by herself. And she lives on her own. The only thing she used to have is a cat. She doesn't have that anymore because she's moving around too much for that. But she's afraid that one day something might happen. She might choke on some food or, you know, hit her head somewhere, somehow, and die. And no one would find out for months, maybe weeks, months, until the building attendant comes in because she hasn't paid her rent or something like that, right? And because of that, she has a system, as I said. She has a system where she calls her sister once a week, every week. And she's told her sister, I'll call you every Friday evening, Australian time or something like that. I'll call you every Friday at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., whatever the time might be. And if I don't call you, it means that something's wrong, that I've died, or something is wrong. And so you have to call my friend Lindsay, who is in Chiang Mai. And Lindsay has the code and the way and the keys to get into her apartment. And so if Lindsay's called, then Lindsay comes and checks up on her to make sure that she's okay, or if she's not okay, do something about it, yeah? And so that is what, I mean, I thought it was brilliant in the sense that we are such amazing creatures, human beings. We can really truly adapt to anything. We're so flexible and adaptable. I just find it fascinating that in order to deal with the fact that she's afraid of dying alone or just dying and no one finding out, that she set up this beautiful system. Perfect, great, yeah? Sometimes Lindsay is not in the country because she travels as well. And so if she's not, then she has a second, like a backup option, a second person that, you know, her sister can call that must be in or is in the country as well, right? So just brilliant. Yeah, I mean, like, absolutely fascinatingly brilliant. I sat there looking at her thinking, wow. I mean, she is an ISTJ, I think. I'm not really sure. Anyways, she's very organized. I mean, the way she lives it's amazing. But I'm surprised that they've set up a system like this. And it's funny to me because recently, you guys know, I was really sick and I was in my apartment and I hit my head And I could have died, or I could have had a concussion. I fell asleep without even thinking about it. I was fine. I'm fine. I think I'm fine. I'm good, as you guys can see. But I could have died in my apartment. And it's really funny because when I told my sister about it, she's like, that could have been so much worse than it was. And you need a system for if you are sick or alone by yourself in your apartment, for someone to come in and get you. The good thing about me, or the lucky thing about me, is the apartment that I live in, I have a really close girlfriend that lives right in the same apartment, same building. And so I'm really grateful because when I was sick, she would come and bring me some food or orange juice or just make sure that I was all right. She's the one who went to the clinic with me when I went to check up on my concussion, things like that. And so I'm really grateful for her and her presence. But I do have a bunch of people that I can call upon in Chiang Mai, which I'm really, again, grateful for. This network that I've built up here has been over time. It's been over 3 years now. So I have a bunch of people, 2, 3, 4 people that I can call on. I'd be uncomfortable calling because that's the way INFJs are, or that's the way I am. I don't like asking for help. Even this friend, I was like, I know you're probably busy, but could you please? And so I'm grateful that I have this connection, these connections that I could call upon, that could come and help me in any case if something happened. But I don't have a system for something happening if I die alone in my apartment and no one knows about it. And no one would really even check up on me because I don't have a steady job or anything that if I miss a few days, people will come check up on me. It's not like I call my parents regularly, so it's not like they would think anything's wrong. Sometimes I don't call them for a couple of months, and so that wouldn't be a problem. The only thing might be that I would stop doing these videos, and then I would get a bunch of messages from you guys saying, what's going on? Why aren't there any videos? I hope you're all right. Which is what happened last time around as well, when YouTube took down a couple of my videos. They're like, oh, what's going on? So I think that's the only real thing. But I thought that it was an interesting idea, and I thought that it would be a good idea for me to set up this as well, but also to talk about how some things that you think are not relevant, right? I mean, if I lived in Toronto, my family would be nearby, I would maybe perhaps be working a full-time job, and if I missed a couple of days, people would notice, people would call, maybe people would come, maybe things would happen, right? But as a digital nomad, it's a completely different bag of rice. You come in and you don't think about these things, right? These are things that you don't think about. You just think about the fact that, oh, I'm going to travel all over the world, I'm so cool, I'm awesome, I'm going to work on my computer, I'm going to do this and that, and then you forget that there's all these other things that crop up, or you don't even know, you don't even realize that all these other things are going to crop up that you wouldn't ever think about unless you are living this kind of lifestyle. But also I think that loneliness and dying alone has become kind of like an epidemic. I hear or read of stories all the time where 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds die and they're not discovered for a few months because no one knows maybe that they're alive. No one knows that they are sick, and maybe they don't have any family that takes care of them. They're just by themselves in the world. One of my girlfriends, she messaged me a few days ago saying that one of her math teachers from high school died in his apartment and wasn't discovered for 2-3 months. I think that was how it went, math or something teacher. And she got a message about it, and just made me feel like this is just the beginning, this is just how it is, and it's going to become more and more of an epidemic, especially so when people are becoming more digital nomads, when people are moving around the world all the time, and travel becomes more and more common. Recently, a friend of mine's friend who was traveling in Malaysia all of a sudden disappeared, and then they discovered her body 9 days later. So these things happen all the time. So of course there's the positive side of being a digital nomad. It's amazing, freeing, there's so much independence included with it and so much joy. But then there's also this other part where there's loneliness and aloneness and this fear that people have that they're going to be left behind and no one's going to know that they're gone. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it'd be interesting for me to share with you guys this perspective because first of all, I want to share my friend's brilliance in her creating such a system, but also I thought it was interesting to share this interesting part or this subset of being a digital nomad. It's not all roses and rainbows. It's a lot of roses and rainbows, but it's not all that either. If you guys have any questions, of course, please message me anytime. You can comment below. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're in the description below. Thank you again for watching. I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.